In this video, we're going to be using First Canadian Shave Polar Vortex and the vintage Gillette sensor for a dome shave. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And as mentioned before, today we're going to be using First Canadian Shave Polar Vortex, which you see right there. And I got a sample of this in one of my orders from the Macho Man, Randy Paquette of First Canadian Shave. Terrific quality soap, terrific guy in Randy. So I look forward to using this today. The scent notes, we'll put them for you right here. And what I get off of this is mainly leather with maybe a little bit of lavender, but there's other notes in it. But I think it's leather forward in my opinion. Scent strength is right around the medium level, and this is a really nice quality soap. I've got a great lather whipped up with it. I didn't see what the ingredients were in the website, but I do know this is the goat's milk formula, so hopefully that's helpful. We're going to be using today the vintage from 1993 Gillette sensor. And one of the things when I grab one of these relative to a modern cart, it's so sleek and nimble compared to the monster carts of today. So we look forward to using this. We've used it for a face shave, and now we'll see how it goes on the dome. So let's go ahead and get started with a little misting action here. And I'm recording this in advance, so whenever this airs, could have been a week or so, time passed, or at least a few days. So just keep that in mind. Let's get our lather here, and the brush for today is the PAA Switchback 400, and the knot is the APShaveco 2-bed knot. And we have a beautiful hydrated lather. The First Canadian Shave soaps are legit. They are no joke. I remember early on, and I said this in my, I probably say this every time I use First Canadian, but early on, I heard Justin, the Red Island Shaver, and Lyle, the Sass Shaver, and many others, B. Lou, and many others talking about how great First Canadian was. And I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. I thought maybe it was national loyalty, but I'm going to tell you, it's not. This soap is just good quality. It doesn't matter whether you're Canadian or not. This soap just really is a good quality soap. Honestly, the formulation, whether it's he has a buffalo milk or this goat's milk, I think runs with, it compares very favorably with the best artisanal offerings out there, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. It doesn't really lack for anything in terms of the quality of the lather. Hope that comes across in the video. You never know how the lather looks really on video, because it often looks different on video than it does when you're seeing it in person. And sometimes that sheen doesn't come across, but it's really a beautiful lathering soap. All right, so let's get after it today with our Gillette sensor from 1993. This is a vintage razor, and we definitely look forward to using it today. And I'm telling you, these old razors like this, these old carts with twin blades, they just feel so nimble compared to the cart razors of today. There's just something really nice about using them. And I know some people are like, oh, he's using a cart razor, he's a heretic, excuse me, not heretic. He's a heretic, but you know me. I am inappropriate that way. I'm a traditional shaver, but I use lots of different types of gear. And I hope that people will happen along these videos, and maybe if they're not shaving completely in the traditional style with a DE razor or a leaf or something, maybe they'll start by seeing one of these videos where I'm using a cart, as I am today, this Gillette sensor. I really like these vintage cart razors, the Atra, the sensor. Actually bought a vintage Mach 3, although Mach 3 might still be produced, but I bought an older one. I don't know if it's still produced or not. But I find these razors to be much more nimble than the Fusion Pro Glides and all that of today. They're with their massive heads and 5-6 blades. I'm not bothered by the amount of blades, but to me, they just don't feel as good in the hand as this guy does. And this is a razor that I used a lot back in the days before traditional shaving, and I enjoyed it. Well, actually, I didn't enjoy it at that time. I enjoy it now because I know how to shave, using more than one pass, using a good high-quality soap like we're using today. from First Canadian. The shaves back then were not enjoyable because they were like using edge gel or something, and I would stretch these blades long after their useful life, and that's really bad. And it's hard on your skin when you're stretching these blades beyond, when they're dull and it starts feeling tuggy and the shave doesn't feel smooth, it's time to chuck the blade. But of course we don't do that anymore, as we've learned, how to properly shave over the years. And now that we know how to properly shave, using a razor like this is really not bad at all, especially these vintage. I mean, I just like using them. As you can see, I got plenty of hydration there in the lather, but also the razor will catch a little water and hold on to it. And it's even much more so with the massive heads of those new razors. When you use one of those, the razor will sort of get some water in those nooks and crannies, and for head shavers, it'll still sort of run down in your face if you're not careful. So just be mindful of that, and always be mindful of pulling down those ears and taking care of that. And also make sure to hit that neck area while you're there. Make sure you don't have hair growing out your ears and neck, and just sort of try to pay attention to that. Sometimes I miss that, but I try to get that every couple of days when I do my head shaves. I'm a every other day head shaver, and I'll try to hit that neck area like down there to make sure there's, just keep it all tight. If you are a head shaver, there's no excuse for you looking like a wolf man on your neck. So just try to pay attention to that, and just hit it while you're getting the dome. And if you need to, use a mirror, so you can see what's going on back there. Most of us who head shave, though, are pretty accustomed to shaving lots of areas without being able to see it, because, we can't see half the area we're shaving. So we're pretty accustomed to it. And that feels great. I got to say, the soap is really nice. There's some menthol in there. I wouldn't call it an extreme level, but I can feel some cooling, which is nice. The scent is pleasant. It's really not my style of scent because leather is not my favorite. But if you like leather, and this would remind me of a winter soap, like reminds you of a winter, sort of going out in a brisk winter, which is, I guess, why it's called Polar Vortex. It does conjure up sort of that image of winter, which is exactly what's intended, I believe. Of course, did I cut my ear there? Yeah, look, there I was talking about keeping my ear out of the way, and I nicked one of my ears, I do believe. That's rare for me to do these days, but look, it can happen. So there you go. Got to be careful. Even with these carts, you can, if you don't pull that ear out of the way, you can clip it. I didn't notice clipping it, but I think I might have. But, what are you going to do? Sometimes we make mistakes. Even those of us who are fairly well seasoned will make a mistake. So there you have it. But back to the soap. It does definitely remind you of winter. It is definitely a, if you're someone who observes seasons, which I do not, like I say before, I am inappropriate that way. I use what I want, when I want, be it razor, soap, doesn't matter the season, the weather, whether it's hot, cold, I just want to enjoy my shaves, and I don't want to be beholden to rules about when I can use things that I like. So I just use them whenever I want to. Because it is about enjoyment after all. There is some good menthol in here, by the way. I'm feeling some of that cooling now. Let's wipe a little bit of that off the shirt. We don't need all of that. And let's be more careful around our ear this time, because evidently we clipped it there on one of the passes. So I don't know when I did it. I don't remember feeling it, or I don't think I saw it, but I did it. And most of the time that I have cut myself while head shaving has been clipping that ear like that. I don't even know how I did it. Maybe I'll see it when I go back to, drop the edits in the video and put things in it. That's going to be messy, isn't it? Oh well, let's get on with it because we don't have all day. Maybe let me pause and just hit that real quick with the styptic so you won't have to look at it. So I'll pause it just so you don't have to see that for the rest of the shave. Stay tuned. All right, so we'll take this as sort of a teachable moment. And what I'm going to do here, I've wet the styptic, and I'm just going to sort of run that over that spot right there. And then I'll rinse it a little bit and then hit a little bit more. And hopefully, sometimes the ears, they are very difficult to stop bleeding. So you might have to apply this and sort of let it dry and then apply it more. I'm not going to pull on that ear anymore because every time I do, it causes that to open up. Just be mindful and don't do what I did today. And again, I take this as a teachable moment. If I cut myself, I always leave it in the video. And today I nicked my ear. That's rare, but I have done it several times. So just be careful. So we'll try to work around that. And always be mindful. Regardless of what you're using, you can sustain a cut. So be careful and pay attention at all times. And it will be fine. But the ears, for me, I'd say most of my cuts have been on the ear when head shaving. It's just one of those areas where sometimes, even though I thought I pulled that out of the way, I didn't pull it far enough out of the way, so be careful. And my ear's set very close to my head, and so I really have to fold them down and get them out of the way. Now, if your ears are flared out, you might be able to sneak in behind there a little better than I am able to, but for me, it's pretty difficult to get that area. So just be mindful and stay cognizant of what you're doing at all times when shaving the dome. There are little places that will get you. It's a little bit, it's not rocket science to shave the dome. Let's be careful on this side so we don't establish a matching cut. I'm gonna keep my fingers there to keep everything out of the way. It's a little bit more difficult to shave the dome. Again, it's not rocket science, but there are more areas you have to use care, in my opinion, on the dome. And I'm gonna work around there again just to make sure we're not clipping that ear as I've done the other one. And I think I've clipped this ear on this side more than the other side too. So I've done that quite a bit. But I will say the sensor, I like it a lot on the dome. Just 2 blades. But I think it's doing a fantastic job for what it's worth. Just feels great. It feels nimble. It feels, I don't know. I like it. I like it. I'm getting some good cooling from the soap. And believe me, that's slick. So I think you can certainly use the First Canadian product with confidence. Sorry for all that water running down my face there. You can use this product with confidence in terms of the soap. It's going to be plenty slick enough. It makes a beautiful lather, as I hope you've been able to see today. And it comes reasonably priced. I don't think I told you how much it cost. This one is on sale at the Razor Company. If you're in the US, $18.99 for 4 ounces, or that's $4.74 an ounce. I'll put up our cost chart there real quick, which is a fair price, especially considering it's coming over the border. Things are a lot of times more expensive when they have to traverse over international boundaries. Even though Canada is our next door neighbor, it's still expensive to ship things. I sent Justin, the Red Island Shaver, won one of my giveaways, and it was just a very simple thing. It was just a razor and I think a small soap or tube of soap, and that was $20. American, or US rather. So it is more expensive to get things across the border both ways. And in talking to my Canadian buddies, Magic Mike in particular, he talks about just how expensive it is just to send things domestically within Canada. And so it's not cheap. So keep in mind when you're thinking about price on a soap that comes from outside the United States, that shipping, if you're getting it within the United States, you have to consider that. And boy, I'm going nuts with the water today. I usually don't do that, but what are you going to do? And now I'm just sort of cleaning up a little bit here, touching up the difficult spots, and then we'll close this baby out. I want to thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I sort of have to look at this razor it's so light that sometimes you don't know which way it's turned when it's behind your head. But it has done a great job today. I have not been perfect because I did clip the ear, but the razor has been quite good, and the soap. So there you go. All right, let me rinse and then we'll come back, get into the post. Stay tuned. And all right, we are back and off cam. We rinsed the dome and then we applied some Thayer's Magic because it's made by Witches. Really nice, enjoyable shave today, apart from clipping the ear today. The First Canadian Polar Vortex, good quality soap. If you like a winter sort of scent or something that would remind you of winter, leather, menthol, lavender, really, really nice. First Canadian shaves, really good quality soap. Our vintage Gillette sensor, it did a great job. I didn't, but it did. I really enjoyed it. And we're going to finish things off today with First Canadian Shave Mojito Chill to keep that chill situation going. And we're going to wish you all a great day and some great shaves. I hope you have fantastic shaves. I hope everything's going well. I hope you're happy, healthy, and everything's just going great. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and as always, God bless.